The Omani desert stretched out, a huge and empty place of sand and rock. The vastness of the landscape was both beautiful and intimidating, with endless dunes that seemed to go on forever. The sun, super bright and hot, baked the ground. The heat was relentless, creating a shimmering haze that made the horizon blur. It was a place where the sun ruled supreme, and shade was a rare luxury. A lone communication tower stood tall, the only sign of people in this empty place. It was a beacon of human presence in an otherwise untouched wilderness, standing as a silent sentinel against the vast sky. It was here, far away from everything, that two technicians, Riaz and Umar, were working on a hot summer night. The isolation was palpable, with only the sound of their tools breaking the silence. They had to fix the tower, a scary job because they were so alone and it was getting dark fast. The fading light added to the urgency, casting long shadows that danced eerily around them. Umar, the older one, wiped sweat from his face. He looked worried. The heat and the isolation were taking their toll, and the task at hand seemed more daunting with each passing minute. He'd worked in the desert a long time, but tonight felt strange. There was an unsettling feeling in the air, something he couldn't quite put his finger on. Maybe it was the quiet, broken only by the wind, or the creepy shadows getting longer. The desert seemed to come alive at night, with whispers carried by the wind and shadows that seemed to move on their own. He felt like they weren't alone. The feeling of being watched was overwhelming, making every rustle of the wind and every shifting shadow seem like a potential threat. Night came, covering the desert in darkness. The vast expanse of sand seemed endless, stretching out under the cold, indifferent gaze of the moon. Riaz and Umar unloaded their tools, their movements precise and practiced. They had done this many times before, but tonight felt different. The air, cool now, made them shiver. The desert's chill was biting, a stark contrast to the scorching heat of the day. Their headlamps made spooky shadows that seemed to move and twist. The eerie shapes danced on the dunes, creating an unsettling atmosphere. They worked fast, the only sounds were their tools and quiet talking. Their whispers blended with the night, adding to the sense of isolation. They were so focused, they forgot everything else. The task at hand consumed them, pushing away thoughts of the encroaching darkness. Suddenly, a quiet but strange noise broke the silence. It was faint at first, almost imperceptible, but it grew louder, more distinct. It was a low growl, like a wild animal, coming from the darkness beyond their lights. The sound sent a chill down their spines. Umar froze. "Did you hear that?" he whispered, scared. His voice trembled, betraying his fear. Riaz, his face pale in the lamplight, nodded slowly. "Yes," he whispered. "What was that?" His eyes darted around, searching the darkness for any sign of movement. The growling came again, closer this time, making them jump. Then they heard high-pitched yelps and howls echoing all around. Riaz felt real panic. He'd never heard anything so wild, so scary. He tried to understand the sounds, but nothing made sense. Suddenly, something moved in the distance. Just a quick flash of something at the edge of their light. He tried to see what it was, but it was too dark. The howls got louder, making them shiver. They were in danger. They knew it. But from what? The thing in the shadows came out, slowly revealing itself from the depths of the darkness. It moved slowly, its shape hidden by darkness, almost blending into the night itself. Umar and Riaz watched in terror, their eyes wide with fear, unable to comprehend what they were seeing. It was taller than a person, long and twisted, with claw-like hands that seemed to reach out for them, but it was its face, or where a face should be, that was the scariest. There was nothing there, just a dark, empty space. The void was darker than the night, an abyss that seemed to swallow all light around it. The creature roared, a sound like 1,000 screams, echoing through the night, and jumped towards them with terrifying speed. Umar and Riaz jumped up, dropped their tools, and ran into the night, their hearts pounding with fear. The creature's howls followed them, a chilling sound that made their blood run cold. They ran until they reached their car, breathing hard, hearts pounding, the fear still gripping them tightly. They slammed the doors and drove away fast, leaving the creature and the darkness behind, hoping never to encounter it again. Riaz and Umar still can't explain what they saw that night. Was it a jinn, a fire spirit as old as the desert? Or was it something else, something nobody knows, hiding in the shadows? They still wonder. What they saw changed them. It reminded them how big and mysterious the world is. They never went back to the tower. The memory of that night is burned into their minds, a scary reminder of the hidden terrors in our world. The desert, once their workplace, was now a place of fear. They learned that some things are best left alone.